A Florida man was stabbed after denying sex to an adult content creator because she wasn't Jewish. A Florida man admits that he exposed himself and shook his genitals at a woman, but says it wasn't sexually motivated. A Florida man tried to overthrow the Cuban government with some of his friends in a small boat. And a Florida man destroys a Chinese food restaurant with a shovel, claiming that he's a prophet sent to stop the next COVID strain. These are the weird stories on Friday on Weird AF News, and they're extremely weird today, and they all involve Floridaman, because on Friday I only do weird news from Florida. Most of the time it involves Floridaman. This is Florida Friday, or Floridaman Friday on Weird AF News. Let's go. A Florida man is stabbed after denying sex to a adult content creator because, quote, she wasn't Jewish. Oh, I see. So Jewish-only sex workers for this gentleman. Can't have non-Jewish sex workers because, what would your mother think?
Oh, Ma, sometimes I want a non-Jewish sex worker. What's wrong with that, huh? Why do you gotta always get on my case about getting the non-Jewish sex workers, huh?
All right, that was my terrible Woody Allen impression. Please forgive me. Let's get into the story, find out what happened in Miami Beach, Florida. An online adult content creator stabbed a Florida man in a shower after he denied her sex, quote, because she was not Jewish, according to the police. Authorities arrested La Rose Saint, a 30-year-old transgender woman who advertises explicit profiles on the Fansly and X platforms. Fansly, is that like an OnlyFans competitor? This La Rose transgender woman was arrested on felony aggravated battery charges and 3 misdemeanors. Police said the stabbing happened at 9:30 p.m. at the Edwards Apartments. According to the arrest report, the victim told officers that he met La Rose Saint, whose full name is listed as La Rose Angel Saint, 3 weeks ago, invited her to his apartment on Thursday. All right, so they already met, and this week recently invited her to his apartment. He didn't find out in the initial meeting whether or not she was Jewish. If it was such an important aspect of the interaction for you, why wouldn't you find that information out weeks ago? All right, no judgment. Keep going. The victim explained after Saint arrived, he informed her they would not engage in sexual intercourse because she was not Jewish. She then became upset and requested his car keys and money. Well, that's a strange demand. Your car? Give me all your money and your car, and I want that vase. All right, I got a lot of questions here. I'm a little confused. This is an individual who has some tastes that I'm not familiar with, like can't sleep with someone who's a woman who's not Jewish, but it's okay that it's a transgender. That was never a deal breaker for this person, this quote victim. I don't want to judge. People have their thing, but just a lot of confusion here for me. All right, authorities say the victim then tried walking into the bathroom, and Saint pushed him, caused him to fall toward the bathtub. Saint, according to the victim, said then punched him several times in the face. Authorities say he left the apartment but came back after hearing Saint breaking his property. All right, this story sounded crazy from the jump, but it's not getting any less weird as I keep reading. All right, so the victim goes back into the home because, the sound of things breaking. Why would you just run away? According to the report, Saint then grabbed a piece of glass from a shattered mirror, caused several minor lacerations to his left hand as she stabbed him. That's right, stabbed him, stabbing she. Now it says Saint, after fleeing, was seen on a police drone getting into an SUV. Officers pulled over the vehicle, took her into custody. The victim told police Saint ultimately destroyed 2 pairs of glasses, a mirror, and a refrigerator door handle. Well, it sounds like you got off easy, bro. According to the report, Saint, believed to be under the influence of alcohol, told the police she, quote, grabbed a knife from a drawer, told the victim, I'm about to crash out. Crash out, that means go crazy. That's what the kids call go crazy. The victim reported that the defendant then dropped the knife and slapped him twice in the face. Okay. Every sentence is another bad decision here. All right, that's the end of the article. This still doesn't really shed any light on the Jewish thing. My guess is this person, this transgender woman, took her pants off, and she was pre-op, and so she had a male member, and it wasn't circumcised, and so the guy was like, "No, I'd rather have somebody Jewish. I want a Jewish member down there. In other words, I want my pickles kosher." I mean, is this a thing? What does the Torah say about sex workers that aren't circumcised? It's not okay, but okay if it's a transgender. I mean, it sounds like there's a pass for that. I didn't realize the kosher life was so freaky and adventurous. Oh, there's a photo of the woman saint here, and yeah, it looks a little questionable, to put it mildly. I mean, if you were to look at her, you would think to yourself, wow, there's a half a dozen other reasons to say no thank you. But Jewish? I mean, no, okay. Considering on all the ways you could do it, that's a gentle way of letting her down. Or might I say, a Gentile way. A Florida man admits to exposing himself to a woman and shaking his genitals, but claims it was not sexually motivated in any way. This story is out of lovely Gainesville, Florida. A Gainesville, Florida man was arrested after police say he exposed his genitals and he touched himself in a sexual manner outside of a woman's window. Well, this sounds like another Florida man mating ritual. We're all familiar with the mating rituals of the Florida man. They always involve public nudity. They oftentimes take place in a Waffle House or a Walmart. Yeah, for some reason in those lovely and sanitary Florida institutions known as Waffle House and Walmart and sometimes Publix, Florida man tends to get a feeling. All right, let's find out where this Florida man was touching his meat scepter. According to the arrest report, Deshaun Johnson, age 28, the Florida man was seen peering through the victim's window from a picnic table 10 feet away. Oh, comfortable picnic table. Pulling down his pants at the picnic table. I believe that's called a Florida man gender reveal, right? All right, let's keep reading about Johnson and his Johnson and what he keeps doing with his Johnson. The victim told police Johnson stayed on the scene for about 45 minutes. Wow, it's a long session for him on the picnic table. Just bare-assing it on the wood there. Just wrap that around in your visual brain. Florida man with a bare ass on a picnic table. Okay, this was while this woman was inside her apartment. It says this made her feel uneasy. Yeah, that's a understatement. Police say the victim then walked to her car to leave the area. She had to just drive away. She's like, I can't. I got to just drive away. I'm just going to move apartments to get away from Johnson's Johnson. While she was walking to her car, Johnson, of course, approached her, continued to expose himself. Did he fornicate with a vacuum cleaner on the sidewalk like the Florida man from a few weeks ago? This woman, this poor victim, had to leave her apartment complex completely. She returned a short time later. The victim then allegedly saw Johnson again. He was still waiting there for her on the picnic table. She called 911. The officers say they found Johnson walking out of the entrance of the complex. The victim later positively identified Johnson on the scene. Did she identify Johnson by his Johnson? Did he have to stand in a Johnson lineup? Can you identify Johnson in this Johnson lineup? I should have probably stated earlier that Johnson is a euphemism for a penis. Unfortunately, I don't have all my Johnsons in order. Now, Johnson later to the authorities admitted to exposing himself and shaking his genitals at the victim, but said it was not sexually motivated. Well, that changes everything. You say not sexually motivated? Well, I mean, then go about your Johnson business, Johnson. Not sexually motivated. What do you call this then, huh? Medically motivated? Oh, I got a doctor's note for this. My doctor says I must take it out. Preferably on picnic tables. Not sexually motivated. What do you call this? Charity motivated? Yeah, I do it for the community. Guys, whip it out for the community. Now, officers, this wasn't sexually motivated. I wasn't trying to get with her in that way. I was trying to test her eyesight. Yes, see if she could see my Johnson all the way from the picnic table in her backyard. So that's why I shake it to the left. I shake it to the right. I say, can you see me now? How about now? Can you see me now? The article goes on to say the police report mentioned Johnson was not wearing any undergarments at the time. Undergarments? What kind of undergarments? Okay. He wasn't wearing any undergarments under his knickers. Police say Johnson is a career offender. Oh, that's good. So I'm sure they'll just let him out again, right? Career offenders, they're all over the place. It's not like they don't know the people doing these things in the community. They've already been arrested several times for doing the same thing, and they let him out again. I mean, of all the ways to fix the situation, this is what you don't do. There's levels of what you don't do. Level 1 is you do nothing. Level 2 is you do this. You just arrest them, you put them in a jail for a temporary amount of time without any rehabilitation whatsoever. This person's obviously got mental issues. Never address it. Just put them in a cell for a little while with other creeps and then eventually let them back out into the world. That's what they do. I would say, other than doing nothing, this is the worst thing you could do. Because cut to 60 days from now, Johnson's going to be out there revealing his Johnson once again, claiming he's got PTSD. Permission to show dong. A Florida man was killed in a shootout while he was trying to overthrow the Cuban government. Oh, trying to overthrow the Cuban government yourself. This sounds on brand for a Florida man plan. No doubt it was devised after a case of PBR in somebody's basement. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what we should do, man. You heard of Cuba? Yeah, well, I got beef. Well, I got a boat. Oh, you got a boat? Oh, I think we can make this work. How about this weekend, baby? This story is out of Tampa, Florida. It says the family and friends of Floridaman Michel Ortega Casanova claimed that he was one of 4 men killed in this armed confrontation off the coast of Cuba. The Cuban government claims 10 men were on a boat registered in Florida that tried to invade their coast. 10 Florida men. How do you convince 9 guys to go? I mean, well, they're all Florida men. I guess that answers my question. The Cubans said they intercepted the boat and a shootout resulted. 4 men on the boat were killed while 6 others were wounded and taken into Cuban custody. Spending nights in a Cuban jail. This kind of reminds me of that story. Do you guys recall those 2 young boys from Texas last year who planned to overtake an island in Haiti using an army of homeless people? Invading by sea with a boat of homeless people? Another cockamamie plan here, but they're out there. It makes you wonder, I mean, how many Steven Seagal films do you have to watch before you're just like, all right, I'm going to invade this country? I'm learning that there's people out there that watch the movie Rambo and think it's a documentary. Oftentimes it's Floridaman. According to the Cuban government, weapons were found on the boat, of course, including assault rifles, sniper rifles, pistols, Molotov cocktails, multiple assault equipment, including night vision equipment, bulletproof vests, assault bayonets. Where do you get assault bayonets? Camouflage clothing, ammunition of various calibers, food for combat use, means of communication, a large number of monograms of counter-revolutionary terrorist organizations. My goodness. That's a lot of stuff. In the U.S., you can buy all of that at Walmart very quickly. Here's a quote from the Cuban government. Right from the start, Cuban authorities have been in touch with their U.S. counterparts, including the State Department and the Coast Guard, about this terrorist attempt. An investigation is underway to clarify the facts with the utmost rigor. The Cuban government is willing to exchange information with the U.S. government on this matter. Among other requirements, we will request information on those involved, the means used, and other details from the U.S. authorities through the mechanisms in place between our 2 countries. So that was Cuba's statement. They're obviously taking this very seriously. I would too. I mean, wouldn't you? Would a boat full of Florida men try and invade your country? That's scary. I mean, it probably wasn't that scary. It was just a boat of stupid Florida men approaching your island. I mean, it wasn't like they probably weren't freaking out. They're looking through binoculars, be like, I see a tan shirtless man on the front of this raft doing crane kicks. Hey, boss, you want to come and take a look at this? All right, back to the article. There's some further information about this guy, Michel, who apparently was the leader of these gravy seals. Michel's brother said that his brother had fallen into, quote, an obsessive and diabolical quest to overthrow the Cuban government. Well, I mean, how long did you know about this, and why didn't you report him? It's like you could have stopped him from being, shot on his way to overthrow the island. What's wrong with people? They say Michel hoped to overthrow the Cuban government and tried to recruit others to join him. He obviously recruited 9 other idiots, which means there's probably like 50 others that he asked that were like, dude, are you insane? No. And not one of them turned to the authorities and said, hey, a guy I know down at the shop is forming a coalition of idiots to overthrow the Cuban government. Might want to look into this. This is his name. No one ever did that. Now, there's a Tampa lawyer named Ralph in this story who was very familiar with the local politics and whatnot. He's fought for Cuban political prisoners in the past. He says Tampa is deeply penetrated with Cuban intelligence, meaning they have actual intelligence officers in the network and agents in place in the network. He claims the Cuban government more than likely knew when and where to expect this guy Michel and his boat full of armed morons to arrive. The last sentence of this article says, get this, according to the county sheriff's office, the boat was reported stolen by a resident who said he saw his boat's registration numbers being reported by Cuban media and realized it was his. They stole a boat, these guys. So, all right, here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna invade Cuba by sea. Yeah, but we don't have a boat of any sort. All right, scratch that. Step number 1, we're gonna steal us a boat. I mean, you can't make this up. I mean, how do you go along with someone's cockamamie plan like this? I mean, you had to know this wasn't going to work, right? I mean, close, but no cigar. Come on, guys. It's about Cuba. No cigar. All right. A Florida man is arrested after destroying a Chinese food restaurant with a shovel, claiming he's a prophet sent to stop a new COVID strain. As one does. Just when I thought the titles of these Florida man stories today couldn't get any more wild. You got Florida man attacking a Chinese food restaurant with a shovel. I mean, dig this superhero. Come on, guys, dig this super... All right. Our story is out of Orange County, Florida. A Florida man is accused of attacking a local restaurant owner and damaging the kitchen. Authorities say Richard Jarvis entered Pearl's Chinese restaurant on Monday and began destroying the kitchen with the shovel, causing thousands of dollars in damage with said shovel. At some point during the shovel melee, investigators claim that Richard, the Florida man, even struck the owner with the shovel. We have Vanessa Trejo, who owns another business in the plaza. She said she had just finished eating at the restaurant when the violence broke out. Here's a quote from Vanessa. The guy had like a shovel, a big shovel, and he was swinging it, and he was hitting them. Whoa, yikes, what the meth is going on? According to the arrest report, Jarvis, the Florida man, told the deputies, quote, I had to destroy that Chinese food restaurant. All Chinese restaurants are going to release a new strain of COVID on July 6th. I am a prophet, and I'm here to save everyone from this devastation. All right. I mean, but, to be honest, in addition to bleach, it's pretty common knowledge that pathogens can be smashed with a shovel. And you can also swat hurricanes away with a shovel as well. You guys knew this, right? Someone might want to tell the Florida man Messiah to please do measles next. That would be helpful, especially in Florida. Okay, let's get some more details. Okay, he said, and it's important here, there was going to be a new strain of COVID released on July 6th, so he was trying to stop that by destroying Chinese food restaurants. Does that mean Chinese food is on until the 6th? I'd like to know. All right, now in the aftermath, nearby businesses are alarmed and they're increasing their security precautions. Trejo, the business owner, said, now we're trying to take different precautions, like keep our doors locked in the back, keep the front door locked because he walked in through the front. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a restaurant. The front door is usually unlocked. I'm not sure it's good business practices to keep your front door locked to your business. I never owned a business, but I don't know. I mean, I just assume in Florida, every place of business has to have a security guard. This is just an extra expense that you got to factor into your cost of doing business, is to have somebody armed that's in your premises, because this is going to happen eventually. You know, the Messiah is going to come back and walk into a Chuck E. Cheese and start blessing the kids in the ball pit. Or it could be any other scenario that involves what I would describe as late-stage Fox News brain. There's a lot of that down in Florida. Do you remember Pizzagate? Yeah, this is like Chinese food gate. Now, that business owner said multiple businesses in the plaza were aware of this and called 911 during the attack. She hopes the sense of community support that was shown will help the owner of the Chinese food restaurant feel safe once again. The Messiah faces multiple charges, including aggravated battery, assault, and burglary. Oh, Messiah's going to have to go to jail, sadly. What if this was really the Messiah, though? You ever wonder that? A lot of people say they're the Messiah, and maybe over the years, a couple of them have been. How would we know? We wouldn't know because we never believe them. We stick them in a mental institution and or a jail. So how many of the real messiahs have perished in these institutions over the years? No, that's a bad look. God's like, I sent my son down again. They locked him up in a cell. It's just, no one believe him? I guess it's my fault. I should have never sent him to Florida. Hello, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast, fans of Florida Friday. Appreciate you joining me for this, and I appreciate everybody that sent me Florida articles the last couple of days. That was really helpful. You know what else is helpful? When someone leaves me a review about the podcast. Nathan1995 left a review 3 days ago on Apple Podcasts, also known as iTunes. Gave me 5 stars as well. So generous. Thank you, Nathan. Nathan wrote, "This is my favorite podcast to listen to. I listen every night since 2023. You are the best. Bless your soul and good luck with your life, man." Oh, you said bless my soul. That's amazing. I hardly ever get told that my soul is blessed. Thank you. Thank you, Nathan. OG listener from 2003. Look at you. Well, I actually don't think you can necessarily call that an OG listener 2023. That's sort of a newer listener. The OG listeners are like COVID and before, I would say. Them some OG listeners. You guys remember the COVID days? I kept the podcast going in the closet. I had everybody howling out their windows. Remember that? Oh, those are the good old times there. Well, we got through it, didn't we? Anyways, if you guys want to support Weird AF News because you think what I'm doing is contributing to the culture in an important and positive way, or maybe it's just contributing to your life in an important and positive way. Maybe I'm just a distraction from the horrible mainstream news that we're faced with every single day of our lives these days, it would seem. Well, you can buy me coffee or join the Patreon by going to weirdafnews.com. It's a great way to do it. If you don't happen to have any funds, things are tough these days. You can do what Nathan did and leave me a lovely review on either Apple Podcasts or Amazon, maybe some other places too. If you listened on Spotify, if you happen to be listening on Spotify, if you could give me 5 stars, that just takes a second. That would be much appreciated. And I'll let you go. I hope you have a great weekend. I won't keep you too much longer. And good luck with your life, man. Bye.